Hi lovely, so welcome back to another beautiful tutorial. So on this tutorial I'm going to be making this beautiful gown that you are seeing me putting on here. So on this video you'll be learning how to draft, cut and sew this beautiful gown with shoulder drawstring. So if this is something you're interested in learning, just keep watching this video to the end and let's get into it. Thank you. So welcome back. So the first thing you have to do is to draw a line at the top of your pattern paper. So that line that you'll be drawing will be around, you'll be coming down from your pattern paper by 1 inches and make a line. So that line will be serving as a shoulder line. So on that line, you go ahead and insert your shoulder measurement divided by 2. So mine is 16 divided by 2, I have 8. Then you go ahead and insert your neck width. So I'm making use of 3 inches for my neck width. Then you go ahead and insert your sleeve length. My sleeve length is 13 for this particular one that I'm making. But if you want yours to be fuller than mine and longer, go ahead and you make use of 16 to 20 inches. So at that part, you go down by 1 inches for your shoulder slant. And you'll be connecting it to your neck width like so. As you see me doing, go ahead and connect your neck width to that 1 inches that you went down by for your shoulder slant. So on that line, you place your tape like this. You go ahead and determine your sleeve opening. So I mark mine to be 10 inches, which is my nipple point. So go ahead and go down by your nipple point for your sleeve opening, which is 10 inches for mine. So if yours is 13, make use of 13. If it's 12, make use of 12. Then place your tape on your shoulder and mark your underbust measurement. That is your shoulder to your underbust. Go ahead and mark it. Mine is 13 inches. I mark mine to be 13 inches. So if yours is 15 inches, make use of your underbust measurement. So I mark 13 inches for my underbust measurement and just go ahead and connect the line like so. So now I'll go ahead and determine my neck depth. So for the front, I'll be making use of the 13 inches, which is a V neckline. So for my shoulder to that my underbust for my front, while for my back, I make use of 10 inches. So I don't want my back to be as deep as my front. So my back neck depth is 10, my front neck depth is 13. That is to my underbust. So if you see this dress, you will know that the front neck depth is up to your underbust. Now I'll go ahead and measure whatever I have at my shoulder. Now at this my underbust, you go ahead and measure whatever you have at that your shoulder. So when you measure it, you go ahead and remove 3 to 4 inches from it and place it on your underbust. So whatever you have on your shoulder, go ahead and remove 3 to 4 inches from it and place it on your underbust line. So and then go ahead and use your free hand and make a curve like this. You know, as it just as like you are cutting a kimono sleeve. That is what you should do. Just make a nice curve there. Now from that my underbust, which is 13 inches, I'll be coming down by 1 inch. So I want to mark 1 inches because that is where I want to start to draft my center part, the center front part. So I'll just come down by 1 inches. So this 1 inches I'm coming down by, I want it to be a guide for the line that I'll be starting my underbust from, my center part from. So I'll just draw it out like this. Now I'll place my tape. I'll be minusing 13 inches. Look at how I place it on that new line. Now I minus 13 inches, which is my underbust. Then I'll go ahead and mark my waist. So my waist is 16. Normally my waist is 16, but what I make use of here is 18 inches because that is where my back's effect will be starting from. I don't want my back effect to start immediately at my waist. But if you want yours to start at your waist, go ahead and insert your waist measurement there. My waist is normally 16, but I mark 18 for this particular dress. Now at that my underbust line, I'll go ahead and divide my underbust by 4 and I will insert it there. Go ahead, divide your under bust circumference by 4 and insert it there. At your waist, go ahead and divide. So let me just label that line as my under bust and my waist. So at your waist, go ahead and divide your waist by 4 and insert whatever you have there so you can see it. Now this is what is looking like. Now for my backs in first, so from that my waist, that line I mark, I'll be coming down by 4 inches. So you can make use of 4 inches or 3 inches for that back's waist in fact. Now you go ahead and connect it from that your waist down. Now you can go ahead, if you want it to be sharp, just make use of the straight part of your ruler. But if you don't want it to be sharp, you want it to be like mine, make use of the curve part, as you can see. So see how it's looking with the curve part. If you place your ruler like this, you will see that you'll just be having a sharp backs effect there. So this is all for now. At this my shoulder part, I'll be adding 1 inches for my shoulder joining. So this 1 inches that I'm adding is where my drawstring will be inserted. So you can see that was why I came down by 1 inches on my pattern paper initially. So I'm still trying to maintain that slant line effect. That is why I'm trying to measure it. So I add 1 inch for my shoulder allowance. So that is when I join that shoulder, I'll be joining it with 1 inch. So that will be where my drawstring will be inserted. So now I'll just go ahead and cut it out. Now at that my under bust part, you can see that I'm adding half inch on it. So now this half inch is what I'll be using to join that under bust to the center part of my dress. Now I'll go ahead and cut my back neckline first because I'll be using this pattern paper to cut both the back and the front. Now at this part, this center part, I'll go ahead and add 1 inches for my sewing allowance. So I just want to add all my allowance on this my pattern paper so that when I'll be cutting on my fabric, I will not add any allowance again. So at that back's waist effect, you can see how I'm following the back's effect to add my half-inch allowance. So at that down part, I add half-inch allowance at the side. I add 1 inch allowance for closing. So this is what it should look like. So let me just blend that line more again for you to see. Now I'll go ahead and bring my scissors and I'll be cutting it out. So I'll also be using this part to cut both the front and the back. The only difference between the front and the back for this part is the zipper allowance. Now you can see this part is smaller, that upper part is bigger. You'll be gathering that part to fit into that part. So guys, I'll go ahead and use this pattern paper to cut. So guys, I fold my fabric into two and now I've placed my pattern on it. So the first one I'll be cutting will be for the back. So the first one I'll be cutting will be for the back. Now you can see the allowance I dropped there. That allowance is for our zipper allowance for the back. So I'll just go ahead and cut out exactly what I have. Remember, I have add all my necessary allowance. I have add all my necessary allowance. I've had every allowance that I want, both for the down, the side, and everything else. So it's just at that sleeve part, I'll be adding a little allowance there because I just want to have allowance. I'll be using to turn that part as well. So now you can see that place that I left. It will be serving as our zipper allowance. Now I'll go ahead and remove this one and fold my fabric again into two. But before then, I'll be cutting the front neckline. So see as I did. So I'll go ahead and cut the front neckline now, so that I can be able to use this to cut the front. So this is the only adjustment that we made on this pattern paper. So now I've placed my front also with my fabric on fold and I'm cutting out exactly what I have. So I'm cutting out exactly what I have on the pattern paper as well, as you can see. So this is what it should look like. So you can see I also add allowance at that sleeve part. Now I'll go ahead and drop this or fold my pattern paper as well and cut the center part. Now this is the front part I'm cutting first for this. So I'm cutting the front part for this center part with that back waist effect. Now I'll go ahead and fold my fabric again to cut the back. So the back now will be having a zipper allowance. So that is the only difference between the front and the back is that the back will be having a zipper allowance. If you notice at the top also, it have sewing allowance. Now just go ahead and open up that zipper allowance like this. This is what I'll be doing. So guys, I'm done with cutting this. So next now do, so guys, this my fabric have a sort of border design. So I've cut all my piece and also went ahead to cut the same fabric for the lining. That part that is darker than the main fabric is what I'll be using to turn this part, the bust part. So this is the front part, as you can see. So this is the front part. So this is what is looking like. So what I'm going to be doing is like this. I'll go ahead and use that other piece that is darker that I cut for the lining to turn the neck part. So I'll be turning that V part like this. So I'll go ahead and turn the V part like this, as you can see. Then I'll also be doing the same thing on this one. So I'll turn the neck part and the sleeve part. So I just want to turn the both part like this. So I'll be turning it like this. Now I'll be doing the same thing for the back. So guys, I'm done turning this dress, as you can see. I'm done turning it. I turn the neck part and also turn the sleeve part like this. So I don't want to fold that part, as you can see, and I've ironed it out. So I turn it and iron it out for it to look neater and small. Now I'll go ahead and form a gather stitch at that part and gather it, that's the down part, so that I can gather it into that center part. So I've done the same thing for the back part as well. I've turned the neck part and the sleeve part. So I'll just go ahead and take all my piece to my sewing machine and gather that down part. Now guys, this is what it's looking like. So I've gathered that part to the measurement of that center part. So that is what I use as a guide to gather it. I gather it to the measurement of that center part. Now I'll bring my center piece for both the front and the back. Now this is what my center piece is looking like. So because my fabric is too light, I went ahead to add hairstay to it. So I added hairstay interfacing to my center part. Now this, we are going to be placing this on that part. Now I've notched the center of that part, that down part. So from that center part, that is where I'll be pinning it. So you make sure that you overlap this. So from that center, this other piece, making sure that front side facing each other, you'll be going out by ½ inches to the other side. So I'll be using my pin. So I'll be taking this by ½ inches to the other side and pin it down, because I want this to overlap so that when I wear it, my bust won't be revealing. So the other option you have is to sew that two center part together and then turn it to your lining and just place it. So I'll go ahead and overlap it again like this, as you can see. So these two parts are overlapping each other. They go ahead and sew it down. So you'll be doing the same thing for the back. The difference for the back is that it won't overlap because the back will be having zipper allowance, so it won't overlap. So you go ahead and place your back as well and sew it to that part. So guys, I'm done sewing it. See how it's looking like. You can see why I said you should overlap. See what it's looking like. This one is under this one is on top. So this is what it should looks like when you are done making it, so that when you put it on, your bust will not be showing. So you can see that V shape there. Now guys, you can see the part that we do. So I've done the same thing for the front and the back piece. So these are the back piece is 2, because our back will be having zipper allowance. Now I want to close that part with my lining. So I also cut that border part of my fabric that is darker. So I'm using the same fabric for the lining because this fabric is very, very soft. It's a soft crepe. If I mean soft, it's very, very soft. So I use the same fabric for my lining. So I'll be using that part to close it. So this is what the inside is looking like. You see the inside is darker because of that border design that I have there. So the fabric there is looking much darker than the normal one that I use. Now what we are going to do now is to join the shoulder of this dress. So pick one piece and join. So you'll be picking one of the back piece and join to this side. Then you bring back the other side and also join it to the other side. So you'll be using 1 inch to close this shoulder. So after you use that 1 inch, you go ahead and form your casing for your rope. So that is what I'll be doing. So guys, I'm done joining the shoulder. As you can see it from inside, and I've also formed my drawstring casing. So that was why we added 1 inch for the shoulder joining. So now these are the ropes that I'll be using to pass in that part. So I'll be using my safety pin to pass it. So you can pass it either side, from the sleeve part or from the neck part. But just know that the rope is to come out at that sleeve part. It should be outer at that sleeve part. So this is what I'm passing right now. So I'm just sure I'm using my safety pin to pass it. And while passing it, make sure that you are drawing it and you are arranging your rope inside, so that your rope will be looking nice and neater. So this is what it's looking like. So guys, this is what it's looking like. So I'll go ahead and put all the other ropes and show you guys what it's looking like. So I'm done putting the rope. I use my pin to hold it down at that neck part, and you go ahead and secure it there, so that when you draw your rope, it won't come out. So once I do that, I'll go ahead and use my seam allowance to close the sides of this top of this dress, this upper part. So I'll go ahead and close the sides like this. So guys, I'm done closing it. I'm done stitching that rope at that neck part as well. See what it's looking like. It's looking so nice and beautiful. So see this part, see it, I've closed it. So if you see the shoulder part, you see that this one I've drawn it a little. So that is what it should looks like. So it should looks like this. When you draw it, it should look like this. Now the other part as well, I've not yet drawn that part. You can see it's looking more bigger and free. So just go ahead and draw it up like this to your desired length, and to how full you want it to be at that shoulder. So that will be all. That will be all for now. So now you go ahead and measure this your down part, or this your waist part like this, that backs and fit, and then you'll be gathering your remaining pieces. So guys, this is what I'll be using for the gather. For the gather it, so the length, I wanted this short before, but I decided to make it long, as you see in the beginning of this video. So now you got, so what, how many years I used to gather this was 5 years, because of the nature of my fabric. It was very light, so I have to use the remaining pieces of fabric. I used everything to gather. So I'll just go ahead and sew it following that shape that I have. So I'll go ahead and sew it and follow that shape that I have, and that will be all for the dress. So guys, we are done with this dress, and this is what it should looks like. See the inside. I'm done with it. You saw it earlier on me. So the only thing that is left now is for you to go ahead and add your zip to it. So guys, this is the end of this tutorial, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you.